days ago because you put something out in the American Conservative, and the title itself is something, it's actually a very, very good title, The Dickensian Return of Debtors' Prisons. That is something that we heard of that existed back years and years ago. We thought those were over and done with, but give us a sense of what you've learned in your work here.
Yeah, so technically, these have been illegal for a long time. The Supreme Court has ruled them unconstitutional, but local cities still find ways around it. I looked at one man in Jennings, Missouri, a suburb of St. Louis. He was jailed over a $460 fee for an unkept lawn. He was living on a $480 Social Security check. It was unreasonable to expect him to be able to pay that, so they then condemned his home. He was then charged with trespassing on a property he used to own and has been in and out of jail ever since over inability to pay a $460 fine.
So debtors' prisons we always associated with somebody who maybe welched on a debt or something along those lines. And as you pointed out, they have been outlawed by Congress since 1833, which are Dickensian times. But this we're talking about fines, we're talking about fees, and we're talking about minor infractions here.
Yeah, another lady I looked at in Pennsylvania was charged with it for speeding on her way home from work. She had just broken her leg in a car accident recently, so she wasn't able to go back to work afterward. And $138 may sound like a small fee, but it turned her life upside down. She was told she had to pay it that day, was unable to do so, was sent to jail. Luckily for her, her mother was able to raise enough money to get her out, but that could have been a travesty.
And there's some local tie-ins here too, right?
Yeah, I mean, in D.C. and Virginia, there is driver's license suspensions for unpaid fees. Now, D.C. from 2010 to 2017 had 126,000 driver's license suspended for unpaid fees. That has nothing to do with actual criminal violations. They've now, since the city council at least, has outlawed this practice, but they can still impound your car. They can still take that money out of your tax return if you are a D.C. resident. And then across the river in Virginia, 75% of the people who have had their driver's licenses suspended never committed an actual crime other than maybe speeding or a parking violation.
But still, along the way, there are people that will look at something like this and they say, well, you know what, if I get a fine, I pay it, I pay my fees. Shouldn't there be some sort of punishment for not following the law there?
Of course there should. And the Supreme Court ruled that it had to be a willful not paying of the fee. Now, in the case of the man I mentioned from Missouri, it clearly wasn't willful when it's $20 less than what he makes.
Yeah,
I mean, you can't live off $20.
Well, Dan King, we appreciate it. I'm going to tweet this out.